Hey, this is Magnar and welcome to this new Let's Play series of Vae Victis mod for Rome 2. I've got a new computer, so this time the quality of the Let's Plays will be a lot higher. You can see here for Rome 2 I've pretty much got everything on maximum settings, almost maximum settings. I think my something I've not got on max. Oh no, everything's on max. So it'll be a vastly different experience visually. Also, the mod is now advanced a little bit since the last Let's Play, so there are a few more overhauled factions and some other mechanics in there, like the trade routes and some other things which I'll highlight as we go through the Let's Play series. Now, in this Let's Play series, I'm going to be playing with 40 units per army. I've already edited an Athens save game. If you want to change the number of units in an army, you have to do it by editing a save game, and I've done that already. So I'm just going to go load that game up. And we're going to play as Athens as per the little poll I did on the Vae Victis forum on Total War Center. I don't usually play as the Greeks, so I've got to probably take a little bit to get used to how they play on the battlefield. I'm imagining they'll be fairly slow and heavily reliant on missiles and cavalry, because the hoplites aren't really going to be able to chase down enemy slingers or javelin men. Okay, so here we are as Athens. You can see I'm actually using another mod which changes the flags to allow for 40 men in an army. I'm not sure, I can't remember what the name of that mod is. But yeah, it's not included in the Vae Victis mod. This is just one additional mod that I'm using. It's not in the Vae Victis mod because I'm assuming everyone's playing with 20 units. And so I don't want to force them to go with 40, especially if your computer can't handle it. As you can see here, the number of men is not doubled. It is only at 1.5. Because that's best for performance. And when we've got 40 units in an army and doubled, it kind of gets a bit crazy for my computer, and even with a good computer it's kind of insane doing that. So I'm just going to have it also with pathfinding. The bigger the units are, the worse the pathfinding is. So I've gone at 1.5 times vanilla, or using the Vae Victis default version at large unit size with everything on max. So first thing we want to do is get some trade agreements. Income is always tight in this mod, and so the first thing is always trying to alleviate that financial strain by going off and finding people to trade with. Okay, let's start off. I'm going to quickly go for these upkeep here, this -5 upkeep. That's kind of a bit significant, but I should probably change it in a future update to make it a little less like, it's pretty obvious that you have to go for that immediately as the Greeks. When it's -5, that's kind of huge, especially when you build your armies up. This mod has completely overhauled units, stats, costs, upkeep, speeds, everything like that. And now keeping your armies maintained is a huge burden, so you've got to be a bit careful with that. You can't just go pumping out units straight away. Okay, so I can't build anything right away, but I want to save up, I think, for something. Do I? Okay, so my first thing, I'm not going to build any military units at the start. I want to kind of build up my city a little bit first. So I'm going to go for this polis, just to get that increased income, and the bonus defense. Doesn't hurt either. I also get, once this is done here, I get the cavalry, as you can see there, the Athenoi Hippes. So it's an early cavalry unit for the Greeks. This one will have a kind of round, not a Thurio shield, it'll just be a round shield, spear, light, no unarmored as well. The early cavalry generally didn't wear armor because they would often dismount and mount throughout a battle, and having all this armor on, adding weight to you, really slows you down with your mounting and dismounting. Often they'd cavalry in this period would actually fight on foot as well, and they'd just use the horses to get to the battlefield position that they want to fight in, probably because horses were extremely expensive and you don't want to have them getting killed in battle. That of course changed later on, and then you had a lot more heavy cavalry starting to arrive and actually being used in battle. Horses in this period were actually also quite light relative to, you know, when you think of medieval knights and whatnot, where they're, you know, going up to like a ton per horse or something like that. Here the heaviest horses of this period, even for another few hundred years after the start date, was only about half a ton, so 500, 550 kilos for like the really heavy horses. Obviously the normal ones would probably be a bit lighter than that, and the earlier you go back, probably the lighter they were. So that means that not as good for barging through people. The mass for horses has therefore been changed to those values so that it's more reflective of the actual mass that different units and animals had in this period. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to put all the units into the city, because the Greeks, when they have an army which is garrisoned, if we go here you can see garrison gets a minus 10% upkeep for all land units, and that is something that I definitely want. Okay, so let's do now we can do look for the trade agreements wherever we can get them. Yes. Maybe Crete. Okay, so let's go to non-aggression first, and maybe they give me trade after that. Excellent. Okay, anywhere else? Macedon, I'm pretty sure don't give you trade at the start. Yeah, they're not going to do that. Even though you're their vassal, I think if we stick with them for a while, then we'll get trade, and maybe we can kind of barter a trade agreement out of them for joining their war against Tylos or something like that. Pontus. 500. Now we probably get 200 per turn or something. Oh no, 56 per turn, so that takes us 10 turns. Let's see if we can reduce the amount that they want. It's hard to... it's not so easy to... Okay, you kind of have to play around with these offer demand payments to get a lower amount. I'll see if they accept 300. 400? Okay. A little bit of haggling always helps a little. It's not much, but if we do that a number of times, it'll add up. Now, I really doubt that the Seleucids will actually want a trade agreement, and nope, they don't. Tylos being at war with Macedon, I think there's zero chance for us getting a trade agreement there. But the Odrysian kingdom... Now, these guys are Celtic, so they've got their Celtic roster, but the last major update, which was a while ago now, we had the Odrysian kingdom, the Thracians, were one of some of the factions that were overhauled in that. So you got the Odrysian kingdom, got the Getae. Getae I think we need to be updated again as well. And also over here we have the Tribali, were also a Thracian people. And so those guys here are all now overhauled as well. Okay, so now when I send this boat, this fleet, slowly but surely over to Massalia, they always want trade, and so I'll be hoping that if I can get there, then that's another trade route we get. Okay, so saving up now for this, need a fair bit, not this one, for this one, 6,500. Now the seasons will also determine the cost of buildings, so let's have a look what we've got here in summer. 10% construction costs, well, it's because it's a wet summer, I think. So we don't want to build there. We want to wait till nice dry weather, where transportation of materials is easier and therefore cheaper. Okay, let's see if we can get some money out of them for this. I don't really want to fight them. Excellent. Just made back that trade money plus a little extra. I'm not going to go for a treaty with them. I may have to attack them. Not sure. Okay, so if we've got enough. Let's have a look at the season. What's it saying? Cold, wet summer. Okay, so the previous one was also summer, and now we've got another summer. So there's a chance that seasons in this mod, that there's a whole overhaul of the whole way seasons work, and there's a chance that seasons can actually be longer. So you have like a longer summer, so it'll take up 2 seasons instead of 1. In deserts and in kind of really colder climates like mountains and such, like the Alps, there you have much longer, you can have much longer seasons. So winter can last 2 or 3 seasons, I think, and in deserts summer can last 2 to 3 seasons, which is really heavy. And the way the seasons work, as you can see in this description when I hover over it in the toolbar, it says a cold, wet summer. Now, seasons are divided into a number of different categories to create a huge amount of variation. Like almost every single region will have its own kind of microclimate based on the way we've implemented it. And the way we've done that is we've got cold, warm, and normal temperature variations. We've got wet, dry, and normal humidity, or I guess rainfall within a season. Then you've got, of course your 4 seasons. Then we have also a terrain. So the say mountainous terrain will have different effects than flat plains or hilly terrain. So depending on the terrain will determine how the seasons impact. Then we've got lastly the kind of climate, the area. So we've got continental, which would be here. We've got oceanic, which is this area around here, the north of Spain, kind of north of France, I think possibly also West Africa. Then we've got Mediterranean climate. Then we've got some arid climates, desert arid climates around this area here, Arabian Peninsula. And then we've got, let's see, that's another one. We've got Arctic, I think, is another climate, which is for, I think, 1 or 2 of these regions up here, and also the Alps. So that really creates a lot of variation, and the way that the seasons will impact on your gameplay. You may not notice it because it's all relatively small numbers. You can probably play without really thinking about it. But they kind of just influence things by a few percent here, a few percent there, except for, of course, your agricultural income and movement speed in winter or summer in the deserts will be significantly impacted. But yeah, so it's kind of we're trying to model how the seasons and the different variations in seasons would impact on your economy and all various different parts of gameplay. Okay, so we need another little bit of money before we can upgrade our building. Military access. Maybe we should attack Sparta first. If we can kill the Spartans, I mean, they've got, on average, better units than we do. I mean, their main Spartioi units. So if we can kill them quickly, well, not quickly, but if we can kill them first, it goes a long way to us controlling that peninsula of Hellas. For money? Yes. Can't say no to money. Okay, so now we are in autumn. Construction costs are still plus 10%. Why is that? It might just be the region, actually. Oh no, it's wet autumn as well. So it could be that we're in a hilly terrain, and the hilly terrain might mean that that's what's causing the increased construction costs, or it could mean that the wetness of the season is causing the construction costs, because I think we've had 3 wet seasons now in a row, and so it could be that. There's no way to actually kind of break down what in-game what each part of the season mechanic is influencing. Also, it'd probably be way too complicated and kind of a bit much info to take in. Okay, one more turn and then we can build our building. Starting off as a single region faction in this mod is really difficult because especially because of the income. The base income is much lower and that makes for problems. So close. Okay, now we're in winter, and it's a normal winter, but winter actually has a higher construction cost as well, I think. So, not having much luck here. Okay, we've found Rome. With any luck, we can get a trade agreement with Rome or Bithynia. No trade happening there. These guys feel like trading yet? Nope. Okay, maybe not for them. Moderate, and if we can go with a non-aggression pack. Okay, let's try with the non-aggression pack first. No luck at all. Now these guys have a fairly large amount of land. So the amount you get from trade is dependent on, well, of course, the resources that you own and the amount of land the person you're trading with has. So if possible, you should be trying to trade with these larger factions. In vanilla, they've got like 4 categories for province sizes. So you've got your 1 region factions, you've got like I think 3 and then 10 and then 50 region factions. In this mod we've expanded that to about 10 different region faction size categories. So we go all the way up to I think like 150 region factions, give you a lot more than a 50 region faction. So there's much more scope, so that if you become huge and you are trading with lots of factions, you're not getting much from them, but they're getting a lot from you. And that way you kind of help the AI, even though you could kind of be steamrolling it. The AI, if they're trading with you, they're going to kind of get an advantage, and they're going to be able to get themselves kind of strong through trading with you. But early on in the game, that makes these factions like Rome, Seleucid, Egypt, and Carthage really valuable to get trade agreements with. So for that reason, I'm going to try and pay them a little bit of money. Even though I'm like, I could probably get this thing now. Okay, I don't want to do that much. Let me build this building first, and then I'll try again for trade. But I really want to get trade with them because that'll make a huge difference. Let's see if I can just hover over and see how much the trade's worth. Okay, so 64. We don't have any resources we can actually trade. You see, we're importing everything. So that gives us an extra, without anything to trade, we get an extra 8 money from a 1, 2, 3. I'm assuming they don't have Velathri yet, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 5 regions, gives you an extra 56, gives you an extra 8 income from trade. Okay, Syracuse, weren't there a trading people? Let me see. Not really liking it, are they? How about a little less than 650? Okay, let's build our building first. Still not how much we should... Oh my god. Oh yeah, that's right. We had the winter. Okay, so I'm going to make enough money back to be able to do this with Syracuse, so I can just do that trade agreement with them. I don't get much from it, but if we start getting resources, it'll be a lot more valuable. So you get 51 from it. So we didn't agree to their first trade request, and that means okay. So another thing we've done in this mod is really change the way that the factions trade with you or deal with you diplomatically. So in vanilla, the way that they haggle and all this kind of stuff, it's pretty similar. There's not much difference between the different factions. I mean, there's slight difference in different personalities, and we've kind of really expanded on that and made it a much vaster different variation between the way that various factions' personalities will behave. So you've got some personalities which are really hard-headed, They're not really good at diplomacy. Essentially, if you don't give them the deal they want straight away, then they don't want to listen. They don't really want to deal with you. Then there are going to be other people who are going to be a lot more open to haggling, and so you can kind of go back and forth with them, back and forth, and kind of send deals to them over and over again, and they'll still listen to you. So in vanilla, you had each faction would listen to about 3 diplomatic offers before deciding. Now in this mod, we've got the hagglers, the one that are really good at trading and diplomacy. They got to about 6 or 7 chances. Now you're probably not going to need that, but it kind of just reflects that they're kind of into the game of diplomacy. Whereas you've got the hard-headed ones, which I think Syracuse might be in this game, which give you 1 shot. You get 1 attempt at giving them an offer, and if they don't like it, then see you later. And so that's what I think Syracuse is. I'm not sure off the top of my head which one's which, so I'm kind of finding it out as I play. Now, because they offered me trade for 640, I offered them trade for 500, and they didn't even give me a counter offer. That indicates to me that they're probably one of the hothead, one of the, couldn't be asked trading, or really just wants to get it their way, or not at all, type of factions. So I just have to remember that for future dealings with them, if I don't crush them quickly, which I probably won't. However, that maybe gives me a bonus to diplomatic. Yes, so now I get a +1 with Rome for treaties with Syracuse, so maybe I can get trade with them now, because I get that +1. Now I'm giving these guys so many, they're probably not going to... Okay, let's do it with 660. No, still not. Okay, hopefully that non-aggression pact with Syracuse over time will result in better relations with Rome, and then hopefully I can get that trade agreement with them later on. These guys, they better not do this every turn. It's kind of annoying. What have we got? We've got Mysteries of Aloysius. +4 cultural influence and +4 public order per turn. Not really needing that at the moment, but yeah, why not? Not that we can kind of say no to it. Okay, now we can build this building. There we go. Let's see how we're doing with Rome again. +1 still. I wonder if we can get trade with these guys again this time. So if we offer them all of our money. I'm not sure if this resets every turn or not, but there we go. Okay, so I think it resets every turn, so you get 1 chance per turn with those guys. Okay, so we got some trade, another 51. 900 now. So now that we've built this building, the rain you see here has nothing to do with the type of season. That's completely independent, but it is wet. Okay, so it's like every single season so far has been wet except for winter. Okay, so we've got trade with Syracuse. Does Rome like that even more? They do. Okay. They don't like to trade with me though. Nope. Okay. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do, I think, is prepare an army to attack Sparta here. But Sparta look kind of like they're getting scary. Maybe the Italian League might be easier. Or Epirus. Epirus might be the way to go. And it's a long way to go, but everywhere else kind of looks a bit scary. Can we get trade with Macedon, maybe?
Enter, friend, and speak. We surely have much to discuss, and
Not yet.
much to agree.
Okay, let's just carry on. Okay, so on this turn we'll take a look at the unit costings, because we're going to start planning building an army. We can't just hang around with this many men the whole time. Now the garrisons are of course increased, so this one has 18. I think in this build some of the garrisons are actually broken, so they'll be fixed in the next update. but Athens gets 18, which does seem a little bit much. Okay, so let's have a look at the costings here for what we can recruit. So we can recruit these cavalry, so the early hippes. Athens gets, this is only for Athens, the hippotoxatae, which are like javelin cavalry, as you can see from the unit icon. Then we have these hamepoi. Now these guys are for supporting your cavalry. So you send in a unit behind your cavalry. They're probably the fastest, or one of the fastest infantry units in the game. The Germans also have a unit like this. And so they only have a spear pretty much and a tunic. So they've got no weight weighing them down, so they can be as fast as they possibly can be. And what they do, they cannot take a charge. If you have them go one up against cavalry and the cavalry charge into them, the cavalry will probably destroy them, because they're not meant to be absorbing a cavalry charge, because they have no shields, they have no armor. What they're there for is to run in behind your cavalry and then engage the enemy and help your cavalry win the engagement against the enemy cavalry. Now you can see they're really cheap to buy. They're 150 and the upkeep is only 74. Compare that to a hoplite unit, for instance, where you've got 850 cost and 150 upkeep, so the upkeep's doubled for hoplites. Of course they're going to be much better for in melee. They're going to be better against archers. Yeah, that's the other thing here. I've played a few little battles against, say, Crete and Rhodos, who have these elite ranged units. You send one of these guys after them. Now, a slinger unit also doesn't have much weight, and it can run pretty quick as well. So they haven't really got much of a speed advantage over the slinger, but the slinger will destroy them because they haven't got shields. So that's something I've learnt from my little testing of the Greeks, and I will not be making that mistake in this campaign if I can help it. Okay, so you can see the upkeep here varies. So we've got these skirmishers here with 44 upkeep, hamepoi 74, 150 here, and then the cavalry, look at that, 260 upkeep, 190 for the skirmisher cavalry. They are really expensive. So when you're building your very first army, keep in mind these costs, and if you're not threatened, you should probably, well, what we'll be doing in this game is we'll be building these cheaper units with the lower upkeep first, so that we can get generating decent income while we're building the army. You can see here also that the ammunition for the slingers is doubled. So the base is 80. The base is 40, but they have 80 ammunition. Now that's also for these other missile units. Now I've created a mod in Attila Total War, which allows missile units to replenish their ammunition, but that is not possible to do in Rome 2. So to combat that, what I've done is garrisoned units get double the number of ammo in this mod. So instead of 40 when we're out in the field, this unit will get 80. So that makes defending a little bit easier, on top of the extremely large garrisons that we have. Okay, so let's move this ship over and we'll start building some military units. No idea where we're going to attack first. I think we said Epirus, right? Could possibly go even into take Pergamon perhaps, but Pergamon hasn't been overhauled, so that might not be such a good idea. Also, they should check out if they're a satrapy or something. They're not. They're at war with Tylus. Should we attack Tylus? That might be the best way. You can possibly leverage a trade agreement out of Macedon by going to war with Tylus, perhaps. Nope, forget it. Okay, we'll build up our army, then we'll go into Tylus anyway. We'll try to take them out or make them a client state or something like that. Okay, so let's start. We'll just get some missile units. So we'll go to 2 slingers. Now the Tylus are Celts, so expecting a lot of unarmored units, I assume. Fairly large shields. Swords. Yeah, not sure what else. As opposed to the Odrysians, which probably have a lot of skirmishing units, peltasts and whatnot. Okay, so got that. Good. That's I kind of have to go for that. So -5 and then -3 upkeep. That's great. Well, I think it's too OP, so I'm probably going to change that in a future update, like I said earlier. Okay, so if now we've got Carthage. So let's see, if Rome doesn't want to give us trade, perhaps Carthage will. So we'll give Rome one more chance, which they don't want to take. So let's try it out with Carthage, see if they want to. Okay, so Carthage are actually a trading nation. So with any luck, nope, don't have any luck. Let's try for them the rest of our money and see if they'll take it, because they do 72. So if they've got even more land than Rome. Damn it. They don't like our treaty with Syracuse. Okay, the other way around that is we can try and get trade or non-aggression with their other allies like Libya. And maybe that can get us better relations, well, enough to get trade with them. Okay. We can also possibly get the Etruscans, so this will probably kill Rome off if we get the trade with the Etruscans, so let's leave that. I want Rome to get big so we can have a nice big battle later on with them. Okay, so we've got slingers. Now we're going to want to get some skirmishers as well. Okay, so for the Greeks we have 3 javelin type units, and I'll just go over the differences now. So we've got our Akontistai, which are just kind of unshielded, low level skirmishers. They throw a light javelin, and they'll probably get absolutely destroyed in any javelin versus javelin engagement. They're the cheapest unit to maintain because they're the kind of come from the lower rungs of Greek society. Then we have the 2 peltast units, peltastai. We have the heavy peltasts here, and we have the light peltasts. Now you can't really tell. I mean, you can look here. This is the main difference. You can look at their throwing javelin, and you'll see that the light peltasts here throw a light javelin. You can see that the damage is 28 and the range 83, versus the heavy peltasts who throw a longe. So it's a bit longer, a bit heavier, it does a bit more damage. So instead of 28, we've got 32 damage, and the range is about 20 meters shorter. And they also have 1 less ammunition. So it's kind of, this will probably, with 32 damage, you can probably kill a unarmored unit in 1 hit if they haven't got a shield. So that's kind of good for that kind of thing, especially against cavalry or something. And the light peltasts, they probably take 2 hits, because 28 is kind of the unfed or really malnutrition type guy can take 28 damage in 1 hit, whereas the well-fed and brought up well and very fit man can take about 32. The amount of hit points each unit has is very similar. So you can see the peltasts here with 31, 32 for these hoplites, 33 for the hammerpoi. Oh wow. Cavalry of course have a bit more because they have the horse's health in there as well. 31, yeah. So there you go. So 32 damage is enough to take out some unarmored units. So that might be the best way to get it. So it's good possibly to get a balance of the two, so you can a bit more flexible. So we'll get 1 of each for now. Now you look here, you got only 2 recruitment slots. Now the reason for that is because recruitment is tied in now to a number of different areas. The base recruitment slots in this level, this difficulty level, which I think we're playing on hard, I can't remember exactly, is 2 recruitment slots as a base. You can then increase your recruitment slots via politics, which I've completely forgotten about so far in this game, and I should really go in there and start advancing careers. because why not, right? Now politics, if we go into the politics screen, this is somewhere where you can see here, for instance, ship construction time, the number of effects that politics, the impact that politics has is much more significant now, and it has a larger number of effects. We've completely overhauled the political system, and we've kind of assigned political systems based on what government that type of faction had, whether it was a monarchy, republic, or it was more of a unorganized or relatively loose tribal. I know that's a kind of a derogatory term, but a tribal system. The other one is a confederation of various states. So the type of government that they had will impact these effects, and also where the best kind of position, the best balance that you want. So we've currently got 63% is our influence, and the balance that we have will determine the size of the effects. If we get really high influence, as Greece, I think we are a republic. So we don't want to have two in the Senate. Yeah. So the word here, I know it doesn't fit on the UI, but the word at the end here will determine what will let you know which type of government or which kind of system you're using. So we've got the republic or democracy, if you will, in this version, in this faction. So we don't want to have too much political support. But if we get a lot of political support, it does give some benefits, especially militarily, such as increased recruitment slots. And so that way we can get more recruitment slots if we want to. The other way is to build buildings. Okay, sorry, I'm wrong. So the base recruitment slots is 1, but if we get another one here by having a military building. And for each military building, you get another recruitment slot. Now the reason for that is because most of the unit unlocks is done via the main settlement chain in Vae Victis, and so this kind of gives another purpose to the replaces that kind of function of barracks and makes them more recruitment training facility rather than unlocking these units, because in this period men provided their own equipment mostly. So it didn't make sense to require a barracks to be able to unlock these kind of units. So instead it's more about, it gives you more facilities for training men quicker and preparing them for battle quicker. Hence, increased recruitment slots. Okay, so this is, I know what you're thinking. We should hurry it up a bit and get to a battle. So that's what I'm going to do. Even though I am trying to be cautious. Wow, that is crazy. Definitely accepting 1100 for non-aggression. Okay, so I'm going to get another couple of skirmishes, and then I'll get into the hoplites. And maybe 1 cavalry unit, and that'll be enough probably to begin an assault on Tylos. Okay, we got Massalia here. Oh, I clicked enter instead of the diplomacy button. Oh well. Okay, let's do diplomacy this time and get Massalia. These guys have to give trade. Yes.
With these words, you bring joy to my heart and the day's greetings to you. Speak, for you have my attention.
Okay, nothing from Rome. Carthage, perhaps.
May Balhamon look kindly on our meeting.
Nope. Okay, so I'm going to move the navy all the way back now. In preparation for an assault on Tylos. Okay, so I've got our skirmish contingent. We could possibly get a couple more, but I don't know. I think we need more melee units. I'll get 1 and 1, but I think the rest of the missile units will be light javelin and light peltas, because I don't expect there to be too many heavy units in Tylus or any factions around this area really. Most of them, I think, at this period would have a lot of lighter units. I'm not giving you nothing. Okay, how much we've got? 500 left, so got to keep an eye on this upkeep. I know it is summer, so that'll change, especially in winter. We'll probably go into negative. So I probably need a cavalry unit. This gives me 255. I probably don't want to spend everything, so I probably am at the maximum number of men I could probably recruit. What I'll do is I'll get 1 cavalry unit. Ah, sure, another and a slinger. Okay. Will they have cavalry? That's the question. If they have cavalry, I'll probably need a. They might have a lot of slingers, skirmishers. Okay, so yeah, that's good. So I'll get 1 cavalry and a slinger, and that'll be the army. Should give me 20 men. Not taking advantage of that 40 units per stack yet, but we'll get there as the Let's Play goes on. So Pergamon are also quite strong there, so I was thinking of invading them and capturing that city, but I think it might not be possible with only 20 men, considering they have, what, 25 plus probably a garrison of 14, which is kind of a bit much. Ooh, a very good opportunity right here though. Look at that. So they have 1 army there. Time to do some scouting here. I think I might have to take out Larissa, take out the Aetolian League, because that's like, that's so tempting. I don't want to do it now. If I do it now, then I'll get really bad relations and diplomacy will be really difficult in the future. I'm assuming that they've sent their stack up to Epirus to try and take them out. One of the major things that we did in the last update is we really kind of reworked the battle mechanics. What a lot of mods do, and what we also did, was we changed originally the chance to hit in melee, which to reduce the speed at which melee occurs. The kills occur in melee. And what that did is that actually impacted on the auto-resolve chances and made some factions, such as Rome, much weaker. So what we did is we put that chance to hit back, and instead we reworked the attack and defense stats of each unit, so that now, although we've doubled essentially the base chance to hit, the other stats are kind of hopefully been adjusted accordingly to make combat seem about the same speed. Okay, so we've got a little decision to make here. After hearing the riddle of Pythia of Delphoi, Chalcon and his wife had decided to pay you a visit. I'm not familiar with that riddle. Feel free to put it in the comments and to educate us on some historical writings. Private audience, public audience. Okay, so this is the Oracle. Let's give the Oracle a... Let's give them a public audience, why not? What's the worst that could happen? Oh, there they are. Look at that. I'm not attacking that. 30 men. That's insane. Of course, the AI does get bonuses to recruitment and all this kind of stuff, upkeep, which allows them, especially at the start, to build much larger armies than the player, especially when you're only got one region. Makes it a bit of a challenge. If you don't like a challenge, then play on easy or on normal, and it won't be so significant. I like the challenge. So, oh, Tylus is destroyed, and now it's only the Odrysian Kingdom with 2 regions. Okay, perhaps we can take one of them because we have that army recruited now. I've only got 18 men. Don't be fooled by this 500. That's significantly probably coming from it being spring. The autumn probably plays into the season probably plays into that a lot. Okay, so we should need to cancel this trade agreement with the Aetolian League and hopefully take Larissa. We won't be able to besiege it. What I like to do normally is I like to attack somewhere, besiege it for a few turns, and then attack it to make it a bit weaker because the number of men in a garrison is much smaller. Actually, Sparta is looking like a really good option now. I think they've sent their army up to Epirus, which means that they've left this one relatively unguarded. Now, I don't have any agreements with Sparta, I don't think, which means I can declare war on them. Damn it. I have trade with them. Okay, time to cancel that.
I am honored to greet such an ambassador. I fear this ending will
Okay, so we've cancelled it.
back of your goods. Whoa. I welcome you on behalf of the
Okay, we've cancelled that and we're going to get ready to invade them. Can't really afford to do much else, but we can't attack them straight away, which is a shame. I think the Odrysian Kingdom might kill Macedon. They're looking really threatening. What do they got here? Only 16 men, but Macedon has nothing. How's Sparta looking? Okay, still nothing there. Oh, and they've got crappy units. They haven't got their Spariotoi. We will be redoing the mercenaries, so these Gorgon slingers will be getting removed. I'm just going to declare war on them anyway, because if I wait too long, then they're just going to come back, and that won't be good. So let's declare war. Crap. So I lose my trade with Crete as well. I just do it anyway. Okay, time to do it. It actually works well that having the war with Crete as well, because that kind of allows me to complete Hellas. Now I'm not expecting to... Oh, damn. Oh, no, that's the garrison army, so that was expected, but that's a lot of peltasts. Okay, so I'm going to have to really use these. They're lacking... They have 3 slingers. We have 3 slingers. They have 1... Okay, light cavalry. Our cavalry can beat their cavalry. So there's an advantage. And our hoplites are better, but they have more. This should be an even battle, and we'll be fighting it in the next episode. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.